Now let's get on with the MSQ. Should have thought about it before coming back. There will be time. Oh look, everyone's here. So Alizai, you know, I'm quite looking forward to seeing who's been selected for the Ilsabard Contigent. I have a few people in mind. Care to make a friendly wager? I'll admit, this is all rather daunting, though not quite in the way I was expecting. We'll be standing shoulder to shoulder with our alliance finest. The best of the best, the warrior of light, and, well, me. It's silly, I know. Perhaps this is my way of distracting myself from the part I should be worried about. Marching into Garlemald. I must quiz Tancred and Urianger on the conditions we can expect in Garlemald. I know it's cold, but how cold? Will I need to keep my ears covered? They can be a bit sensitive at times. Yeah, you should probably cover your ears. If Aymeric asks after me, say I'm getting on fine and leave it at that. Don't you dare breathe a word about the cord. Ah, fancy meeting you here. I trust our mutual friend is settling into life as a scion. Collaboration never was his forte. The moment the fighting ended, off he'd go like a gaily cat swept up in a strong breeze. But rest assured, he'll always be there when you need him. Probably. Okay, probably. Yellow. Apparently my chat isn't working. For some reason. Ah, the Wanderer's return. Let me see. You've been busy bringing down a tower and producing the keys to destroying the rest of them. Okay, I'll have to go back here. Just a moment. Just making sure chat is working. Yeah, chat seems to be working. Yes, it is working. Everything is working. All good. Okay. You should be proud. Those warding scales of yours are what made this whole venture possible. Will you and Lord Aymeric be leading the contingent? Regrettably, no. Our role is to organize the various delegations into a cohesive unit. Once we have seen you all off, it's back to our respective posts. Well, yeah, they are leaders after all. We dare not neglect our duties for too long, lest our defensive efforts fall into disarray. And just between us, there was a fair amount of opposition to the formation of the Ilsabard Contigent. The very suggestion that we send some of our finest troops behind enemy lines to render aid onto the Garleans has made me rather unpopular in certain quarters. Can't please them all. True. Sadly, not. Though I do my best. Truth be told, I'd much rather be at your side, charging into the fray. Alas, I've battles of my own to fight, where words may serve me better than any blade. I hate to say it, but Lord Aymeric's struggles mirror my own. For the time being, the best we can offer you is the peace of mind from knowing Eorzea is in safe hands. Safe hands when you only have one hand. You're so funny, Roban. As you fight the good fight in Ilsabard, I and the other commanders will do what we can to convince the naysayers that our cause is just. Thank you, both of you. We meet again! Oh look! It's Gaius. Word of your exploits travels quickly. From what I gather, the protective talismans you obtained led to the formation of this expeditionary force. My contribution on this occasion is but a minor one, that being the information I have shared with Maxima. For the sake of the people of Garlemald, may the fates be on your side. So you're not coming with us. Strange, I thought you'd have a stake in this. I do, the Telefra I have laid waste to my homeland and enslaved my people. But, though every mote of my being cries for vengeance, I cannot be the one to deliver it. My presence alone would place the entire mission in jeopardy. I stand accused of murdering Emperor Varys and plunging Garlemald into chaos. Were I to travel with the Ilsabard Contigent, it would give my countrymen ample cause to question our motives. Conversely, those who believe me innocent may instead celebrate the return of a former legatus and attempt to raise me into a position of leadership, furthermore destabilizing the region and complicating the contingent's mission. Whether I am branded a villain or hailed as a hero, I would only hinder your efforts. We will deliver your people from harm in your stead. I doubt they'll be pleased to see the champion of yours set foot on Garlean soil. Yeah, I doubt. A fair point, but so long as you refrain from announcing your arrival to all and sundry, the average person should have no inkling as to your identity. Although your titles and deeds are common knowledge, only a select few would recognize you on sight alone. Perhaps one day they will learn that the Warrior of Light is not a demon to be feared, but a woman deserving of their trust. Ah, nice. In light of Gaia's rather unique circumstances, instead I will assume the role of your guide. Though I may have defected for political reasons, my love for Garlemald endures. I would stop at nothing to protect her and her people. Well said. Might I ask you to escort our friends inside? You might even bump into an old acquaintance or two. And if I don't see you again, ere you depart, may the Fury guide and protect you. All of you. Alright. So we're going to meet our companions, I suppose. Oh, it's pretty dark. Well, it is... It shouldn't be so dark. Strange. Okay, off you know. With the knowledge that our allies will hold the line in our absence, we may devote our attention to the Ilsabardian front. So that's Gaius Belsar. The horrors he must have seen. Many of his own making, I do not doubt. Like Gaius, I too stand accused of Varys' murder, though I am rather less recognizable on sight. Still, it's something to bear in mind once we reach Garlemald. No? Emmerich. I neglected to mention earlier that we received a report from our troops that may be of interest to you. While engaged with the lunar primal, a great worm swooped down from the skies above and came to their aid. This worm, as described, was a splitting image of Tiamat. It would seem she too continues to wage war against the Telephoroi. Yeah, seems like it. That's good to hear. I suppose it's easy for some people to forget there are civilians in Garlemald too, when the only Imperials they've ever known are soldiers. Once we've seen the contingent on its way, I will return to my duties here in Ala Mhigo. As many of our most capable will be traveling with you to Garlemald, we who remain will have to fight that much harder to make up the difference. But let no man say I do not welcome the challenge. Aye, this old bull isn't ready to hang up his horn yet. Regardless of how my countrymen receive you, the cold will not treat you kindly. Underestimate it at your peril. Alright. Maxima would have you meet your new traveling companions, the best of the best. The other members of the Ilsabard Contigent are gathered in the royal palace. I shall inform them of your arrival, so please make your way inside as soon as you're ready. Anything else? No. So we need to go inside. The remaining members of the Science, your friends and most of the Ilsabard Contigent await you within. Would you like me to see you through? Yes.
By the 12.
Auto move. Oh look, so many people. Some people from the job quests.
Glad you could join us. I hope you don't mind, but we went ahead and started without you.
Oh look.
As you can imagine, our traveling companions were eager to become acquainted. 'Tis a rare thing indeed to see such a diverse and talented group of individuals assembled for a single purpose.
True.
We fight not only for the sake of Eorzea, but for the entire world, including the people of Garlemald. Much rides on the efforts of the Ilsabard Contingent.
Indeed, which is why I am glad to find myself in the company of many trusted comrades.
Look who it is.
Lucia.
I have come at the behest of Lord Emmerich, who has honored me with the role of Ishgard's representative. And for the good of all nations, not least my former homeland, I am determined to see this mission through to its end. We have a hard road ahead of us, but walk it we shall.
Yes, she's Garlian.
Together.
We too welcome this opportunity to work together once more. I have faith that if there is a way to resolve this conflict, we will find it.
We should have Sid with us though.
Allow me to introduce you to the rest of our company. Everyone! If I may have your attention.
Bunch of class traders.
Might I ask you to speak first?
If I must, I am Arun Senna, spokesman for the Gridanian delegation, here on behalf of my esteemed sister, the Elder Seedseer. We shall provide support and protection to those in need during our time in Garlemald. To that end, I am joined by healers selected by the Conjurers Guild, with the Order of the Twin Adder's Finest serving as our escort.
So there's the support group.
Of course, with an experienced white mage such as yourself accompanying us as well, those requiring more involved treatment will be in safe hands. Raya O sends her regards.
Don't mind the fact that I'm a Reaper right now. My white mage gun is just hanged. This fella.
Wait, I know you.
The name's Sicard, in case you've forgotten. Truth be told, I'd rather you had forgotten.
Yeah, you kinda messed things up.
The Admiral asked Captain Hilfear to send his best, and for whatever reason, he picked me. Of course, if I'd refused, I'd be the laughing stock of the bloody executioners, and my reputation's taken enough of a kick-balling as it is. But more importantly, like any pirate worth his salt, I know when you're staring down a storm, you gotta trust in the commander of your ship. So if the Admiral wants us to go to Garlemald, not for plunder and glory, but a promise of peace in our time, then that's what we'll do.
Alright.
Since we all know how much the Empire loves its steel, we thought we'd bring along a few smiths to make the most of it. Give them a pile of scrap and they'll cobble together anything you fancy.
That's gonna be useful.
Of course, just like the Guardians, we got fighters of our own. We might have come with a more constructive purpose in mind, but we're more than capable of cracking skulls, believe you me.
Well, you're certainly raring to go. But then again, so are we. The most dependable warriors of Uldar and Ala Mhigo have assembled at the Sultana and General Aldin's behest. If Garlemald has truly fallen, then
the whole place is likely to be crawling with Telophoroi. We'll need plenty of troops to clear and hold a path for others to follow.
True.
That's where we come in. Naturally, Marshal Terrapin and I will be leading from the front.
And a few mages.
It's been some time since I last saw you in your element on the battlefield.
From what I've heard, you've become pretty fearsome yourself. Master Matoya, the avatar of destruction. With comrades like these, I know we'll succeed, no matter what awaits us.
This story is great.
And then we might finally get a chance to enjoy a good long rest. But until then, let's give it our all.
Everyone's assembled.
As for Ishgard, we Temple Knights have come in force to uphold our nation's commitment to the peace and welfare of our allies. The bitter cold of Garlemald is a formidable enemy in of itself. Our experience fighting in ice and snow will prove invaluable in the days ahead.
Most likely.
Accordingly, I have been designated commander of the Ilsabard Contingent. I will do all in my power to provide you with the leadership and guidance you require.
Nice.
The four high houses, House Hylinart foremost among them, have arranged for a host of machinists to join us on our mission. Their knowledge of Imperial Magitech is sure to be a great boon. They will address any problems of a technical nature, together with the smiths of Limpsa Lomitsa.
That's gonna be useful, indeed. They actually put some thought into this.
There is another awaiting introduction.
This fella.
Yes, Emanelaine de Forton, at your service. Though, lest there be any misunderstanding, I should stress that I've not become a fearsome warrior while you were away. Rather, far from it, actually. My brother, in his infinite wisdom, decided this would be an excellent chance to make something of myself. So, fight for world peace and all that. But, should the opportunity arise for a spot of ballroom dancing, I will be your twinkle-toed gentleman of light.
I dare say your fancy footwork may be all that stands between us and certain doom. May your graceful prancing lead the way to victory.
Huzzah! I cannot wait to regale Honoroy with my tales of daring do.
Wait, Honoroy is not with you?
I believe that concludes
That's
the Grand Company of Aeol.
something to be concerned about.
Our allies
Just
from
don't
the
get
Eastern
yourself
Alliance
killed.
were due to arrive some time ago, but it would appear they have been delayed.
Would that be the shinobi of Doma?
Actually, they've been tasked with relaying messages back and forth between the various eastern nations. According to Lord Hien, however, an equally capable company of warriors has been sent in their stead.
Who?
Out of my way!
Oh, I know who that is. Ah, Saru. Ah, nice. The people from Bosja as well.
Forgive us for coming late.
And Sirina.
We are the delegates of the Eastern Alliance.
Cyrena, and you've brought company.
Hey, you had to bring someone with brains. You couldn't bring the two battlemongers.
As a step is sorely lacking in both. No towers befoul our lands, so we marched on those of Doma, only to find them beyond our reach.
Also.
But now our first slaughter will be slaked. No quarter to the enemy!
Yeah, this is a
Do know
peace
we
mission.
go to make peace with the Iron Men, not war.
Warriors of the Steppe, we've heard many tales of your bravery. We welcome you as allies. And these other ones you have brought are...
Oh, you don't know them?
Members of the Dalmascan resistance group, Lente's Tears.
I love that mustache.
And the Bosnian resistance. Between them, they have a wealth of experience in espionage, and are particularly adept at infiltrating Imperial facilities. Which is fortuitous, since Garlemald's domain is so vast that I could never hope to handle reconnaissance duties all by myself.
Dalmasca, Bosnia, Ala Mhigo. All lands which have suffered the tyranny of the Empire.
Yep.
I would never presume to question your motives. Nevertheless, I must reiterate that our goal is to aid the victims of the Telophoroi, the common folk of Garlemald. And they are victims, make no mistake. Though I understand that many may struggle to see them as such.
You're more right than you know. For every one of us that answered the call, there were a dozen that refused.
Oh, makes sense.
Not only in Ala Mhigo, but everywhere we went. And who could blame them? The Empire's always been the enemy.
Yeah, the evil empire.
But after seeing what we've seen, fighting and working against and with Garleans, there's no denying the simple truth. They're just people. No different from you or I. They've got their share of liars and murderers, but so do we. So do we all. Fordola, who once swore herself to Garlemald, has proven herself a trusted ally time and time again. Every Eorzean here knows Cid Garland, the Imperial defector who shared with us countless technological wonders.
Who is
Maxima,
conspicuously
who stands with us today,
absent.
tried to reform Garlemald from within and make peace with Doma. So you can believe me when I say that every fighter here understands and accepts that the Imperials are not monsters and are deserving of help. Or at least that they were able to put aside their feelings for the greater good. It won't be easy, but we're all determined to make this world a better place.
Let's go then.
What lingering concerns I may have had were clearly unwarranted. I agree with everything you said wholeheartedly.
Then we are in accord. Now, let us review our strategy.
Alright.
To reach the Garlean capital in northern Ilsabard, we must cross the central mountain range. Fortunately, Garland Ironworks can provide aerial transport, sparing us this most treacherous part of our journey.
Okay.
However, attempting to fly any closer to Garlemald would attract the attention of the Telophoroi. As they appear to have seized control of the majority of the Imperial military, we must assume that includes its fleet. In addition, Garlemald possesses devices that can interfere with airship navigational systems, further discouraging an airborne approach.
Makes sense.
Given the circumstances, the closest we dare deploy our contingent is an area between the range and the capital, the Magna Glaciers. From there, we must travel the rest of the way on foot. We will also need to bring the airships with us to ensure we can withdraw with haste. Although much of the terrain will be blanketed in snow, we should be able to make use of local roads and shipping facilities. The vast ice field will afford us an unobstructed view of the surrounding area. On the other hand, it will also allow others to easily spot us, so it is imperative that we only make camp in positions where we can easily defend ourselves. And the airships, which must be kept safe at all costs.
We cannot account for every possibility, so we must be prepared to think on our feet. We will be tested. Sorely tested, I expect. But for our homes and for our people, and a people not our own but in need, we will succeed. Spare no effort in your preparations. Once we depart, there is no turning back.
So we'll have to prepare handsomely. for the fight to come. Oh look, so many people to talk to. Oh god, where should I start? Guess I'll leave the science for later and then just start, I'm guessing here? Our prowess has finally been recognized by the other Order of the Twin Adder. Naturally, Kaidelot is also here helping us. Whilst his ability as a bard is unmatched, I do worry about his judgment. However, you need not. I shall be keeping a close eye on him, I promise. I can't lie to you, if I wasn't entirely for this whole thing when Sanson spoke to me, but if it means being your brother in arms, then who am I to pettifog? I shouldn't be so hard on him, I suppose. This bard unit is quite impressive, really. Yes, one must give credit where credit is due. Rather uncouth for one to do so otherwise, after all. Just checking something, everything is fine. The sound is fine. Arusena. In case you are wondering, Shiva will be staying behind to defend the Twelveswood with my sisters. She was of the opinion she would make a useful addition to our contingent, and was eager to make good on her vow to accompany me as well, which was flattering, but ultimately it was decided that her skills would be better put to use keeping our homeland safe. I am of course obligated to share with you her every detail when I return. Okay. Greetings, the time has come for us Marines to show our valor upon the battlefield. How Lucius will know our name and quake before our might. To victory, come hells or high water. Yeah, this dude is the the scholar job quest giver. Until the Empire fell, Garleans were the only ones we was allowed to impose tariffs upon at sea. Weren't easy pickings, but I made myself a pretty gill. Since they've been so generous to me and mine, perhaps it's time I returned the favor and gave a little something back. I'm here representing the Marauders Guild, and it's my job to keep the Smiths out of harm's way. Mind you, with them hammers of theirs, they can put up a fair fight themselves. With a bit of luck, this will all be over and done with before you know it. Maybe when this is all over, we could pay the X-Master a visit. He still tells all the new recruits about the time he killed Kujata and avenged that boy's parents. Heh, I remember it like it was yesterday. Like it were yesterday. Often as father told me of the struggles faced by Ala Mhigo in the days of occupation, and I too have crossed swords with the Empire on many occasions. Though Garlemald has long been our bitter enemy, Her Grace has elected to bolster the Ilsabard Contigent with members of the Immortal Flames. As representatives of the Sultanate, we are one in our commitment to the cause. Alright. Lise. It seems so long ago we were sailing across the Ruby Sea and charging about the Azim Steppe with Sirena and the others. I'd say we're overdue for another adventure. It brings back memories to see so many familiar faces. We've been through so much together. Good times and not so good. I expect Garlemald will be mostly the latter, but I'd like to believe we'll look back on these days more fondly in the years to come. But for that to happen, we'll have to make it out of this alive. Don't you die on me, eh? I won't die. If I die, I'll just rest. It's fine. We came as quickly as we could. We would follow your example and devastate the Telophroi with the full extent of our powers. Worry not, for your brother's pussy. We will return soon. Shushuto. I'm so glad I found you. I've for you a letter from Master Hammond. Let's read it together, shall we? Now let's see here. I've every confidence that your fist shall bring the Telophroi to their knees. And should you spy any beautiful maidens thereabouts, perhaps sing to them my praises. Charming, master. Well, more fool me for thinking that letter contains something actually inspiring. Let's just, forget this note exists and focus on the battle ahead. Yeah, probably a good idea. Lucia. I've led troops into battle many a time, but never a unit with such a diverse range of talents. While I've been briefed on their capabilities, I expect you could provide additional insight into their strengths and weaknesses. I'd appreciate any advice you may have. If you're laughing, you should see the monk quest line with that Master Hammond. It's an old Tartaruga Genial. Kinda. I cannot recall the name in English. Yep. I cast my lot to the populares to bridge the divide between Garlemald and her territories, that all may be united in common cause. But we were disparaged as a radical element. Dissenters took to destabilize the empire from within. Many friends and even my parents perished in unfortunate accidents. I too would surely have met the same fate had I not defected. Nevertheless, I still dream of equality and peace for us all. As the world itself stands on the brink of collapse, I hold out hope that one day that dream will become reality. Well, if I'd known that what a social gathering this would turn out to be, I'd have dressed for the occasion. Still, this seems the perfect opportunity to mingle with the other guests. Would I be correct in assuming those ladies over yonder are Serena and Sadu up to step? Perhaps I should introduce myself, though I don't like the look of that fellow with the enormous axe. Yeah, you should be worried about Sadu, to be honest. I'm not the dude with an axe. Not little son. If it isn't a fear, it isn't in no small part to... It's thanks in no small part to you that the manufacturer's future is looking brighter than ever, my friend. And I am pleased to report that I and a handful of my colleagues have been selected to join the contingent. Here the expedition has ended. Even the Knights Temple will be singing our mechanist's praises, once they have borne witness to not only our mechanical proficiency, but our combat prowess too, of course. Let me have a look at you. A touch nervous to enter the battlefield, perhaps? Well, I shall be out there alongside you as a Temple Knight, serving with your fine van? Though I may not look it, I was the Azure Dragoon once upon a time, so you can rest assured I will give all that I have in the coming fight. I certainly won't be shown up by you or Estinian. Yeah, I'm pretty aware you were the Azure Dragoon upon a time. I don't know why you say it like this, especially because I did all the quests with you. But fine. Rustic. Once again, we find ourselves fighting on the same side. First Bozja, now Garlemald. It may seem strange I'd agreed to aid the Imperials after waging war against them for so long, but here I am. It is time we put the past behind us. Master Roshi. Yeah, Master Roshi. Master Kame, yeah. Master Hammond is pretty inspired by that, I would say. I'm glad to see you well. Grandmother was worried for you. The night I agreed to come hither and join the contingent, the gods sent her a strange dream. 2 suns, one burning red, the other frozen black. Closer they circled, closer and closer. As they danced, the world fell to ruin. In blinding chaos, she spied blackened silhouettes and knew that one was yours. Yet we knew not how to interpret this dream, save as a sign that great danger awaits. But what lies ahead, I will walk with you, traveler. The traveler again. Sadu, I care not for the Iron Men or their troubles. It is the destiny of the weak to die in anonymity. Even so, I will do as I have agreed. I volunteer to join this band at Sirena's request. If she thinks it a worthy cause, that is reason enough. Though we hail from different tribes, our bond has grown strong of late. She is much better company on a hunt than any of the steppes oafish men could dream to be. Well, I see something going on there. And here we go, Magni, little son. With them all, champions of the Nadam, and the Dotharal having sent so many here, I had thought to defend the steppe in their absence. And I would have done so were it not for my step-brothers. They urged me to grant our allies the sun's might, that these radiants may deliver unto them unto victory. Though I must tolerate the presence of this feral Dotharly dog, as first among my brothers I could do no less than accept this challenge. My deeds will become the stuff of legends. Yes, sure, little son. I did not expect to see the other former Azure Dragoon here of all places. As he well knows, I'm not one for verbose greetings. We shall instead let our lances do the talking once we are on the battlefield. Then we'll see if the other has been diligent in his training. This is extraordinary. To be in such company, the finest our allies have to offer. With comrades such as these, we are bound to succeed. I'm certain of it. Perhaps being a bit of a fanboy. We've been part of joint military operations like this before, with far greater numbers, but for some reason, this feels very different to our previous experiences. Despite having shared little more than introductions, there's already a palpable sense of camaraderie. I was half expecting to find the man who taught me red magic amongst our number, but he is nowhere to be seen. I suppose he's had his little share of unpleasant experiences with the Empire, but so have we all. Perhaps there's some other reason. Well, in any case, I have a feeling I'll see him again once this is all over. I'm sure he'll be pleasantly surprised by how much my swordplay improved since we last met. Alright. Blessed are we to have made countless steadfast allies in our journey. Over our journey's course. Indeed, we are joined today by many new acquaintances, who in time shall we come to call our comrades, and mayhap friends. I have close ties with the scouts of the Eastern Alliance and the various resistance groups, and they're an absolute joy to work with. Okay, that was short and simple. And I think that's everyone. So let's talk with Ishtola. Besides the delegates assembled here, the Amalja and several other tribes offered to send troops of their own. Unfortunately, due to their physiology, many would struggle simply to survive in the harsh climate of Ilsabard. They would also likely prove tempting targets for abduction by the Telophoroi. All things considered, they can better aid the cause by bolstering our defenses in the Eorzea, though their eagerness to do more has been noted. If you shall have to suffice, here we embark. We must distribute the warding scales to our comrades. Care to do the honors? Sure. I guess. Their dialogues haven't changed. No. We heard it would be cold in Garlemald, so we came prepared. Yeah, here you go. These enchanted talismans, or should that be talisman, would probably require considerable less time and effort to produce if the alchemists of the great work were not so preoccupied into making them look pretty. They actually look like an styled version of Heidling, for some reason. Oh, the talismans. We are to keep these close at all times, yes? I will see that no one misplaces theirs. Ah, and before I forget, I have a message from Heen. In distant lands, in times of strife, together stand, together fight. In darkness shines the light of life. I hope I have done his words justice. Doma, like much of Dohotard, has been plagued by the towers, yet he could not be here. He wished to express this shared conviction. He and Nugiri labor without rest to unite the people, and with their aid will we keep the enemy at bay. And we of the Steppe and the Eastern Alliance will repay their efforts by ending this war. I'm glad to see you. Okay, so yeah, we already read that. Lucia. Warding scales for the Ishgarden delegation, I take it? Yep. Many thanks. These talismans may prove to be the deciding factor in the battles to come. I find myself conflicted in this foray into Garlemald, sent by the Empire to infiltrate Ishgard, only to throw in my lot with those whose secrets I was supposed to be stealing. And lead the mission to save the countrymen I betrayed. But that is doubtless why I was chosen by Lord Aymeric. He would have me put my extensive knowledge and former ties to good use. I will not disappoint him. For the future of Ishgard, Garlemald, and the world at large, I will lead us to victory. And yeah. Here you go, warding scales. That a set of warding scales, I spy. Not that I would know what they'd look like. Should. Wow, look at these. Even a layman like me can tell they're bursting with either. All the better to fend off the tempering waves? Is that the right term? Anyway, this will give us one less thing to worry about, which just leaves the other mountain of whatever else is waiting for us in Garlemald. Only one way to find out, eh? Then, nervous or not, I'd march through all 7 hells if it gave me a chance to put Xenos back in the grave where he belongs. How nice. I hear you've got something for us. Yep, I do. Ah, them scales everyone's been talking about. Pretty little things, ain't they? Reckon they'll be worth a gil or two when this is all over. But we'll hold on to them for now. Oh, and one more thing. I know what you're thinking. Why didn't they send Ainzar instead? Buggered if I know. All the Admiral and Captain Hilpier told me they needed someone to help safeguard the future. And here I am. Can't say they haven't got a sense of humor. Of course, some of you might be wondering what the good a pirate is on dry land, in the middle of the sodding snow of odd places. Well, me and my crew will do whatever needs doing, so let us set sail, or however the saying goes on airships. Yes? Warding scales. Oh, so these are the famed warding scales. Enough for me and my men, I see. I myself am especially grateful for this opportunity to visit distant lands. I wish to follow in the footsteps of Master Aitoa, and learn all there is to learn of the star we call home. Indeed, that is the primary reason I volunteered to join the expedition, to journey outside the Twelveswood, much less enter into Imperial territory. It is a rare privilege afforded at Pajal. Not that I'm tagging along to see the sights. The Garleans would benefit from my healing magics, as would our comrades, should fighting break out. Is there running a ship? Yeah, we already read all that. So Maxima. Do you have a warding scale for me too? I do have a warding scale for you. Thank you for this, and for going to such incredible lengths for the sake of my people. Though I have little to offer in return, I would impart some advice, if I may. You have been told by many to wear the cold of Ilsabard, and I cannot stress enough that this is no token warning. I will be distributing specially made warming tinctures, courtesy of the Alchemists Guild, but understand that they are no substitute for proper protection. I'll leave the provisioning of said protection to your discretion. Now let us proceed to the Ala Mhigo quarter. While you make your final preparations, I'll have the pilots ready the airships. Alright. Oh, more talking. Something of a constant refrain that will require warmer clothing. My present garb may be lacking, fur color notwithstanding. Concussions to fortify the flesh against wind and cold are commonly sold in Ul'dah markets, though they are of dubious provenance and efficiency. It is said, however, that in recent days the Alchemists Guild had produced a tincture capable of such a feat. Mayhap the achievements of their Tavnarian counterparts did spur them to action, that they not be put to shame. This coat is quite warm, but I have something rather thicker for occasions like these. There's no telling how long we'll be out in the open, and you can't go starting fires willy-nilly if you want to avoid detection. If you have anything you still need to take care of, you'd better see to it now. Since my revival, I've been lax in expanding my limited wardrobe. Think we have time for a quick trip back to Old Charlian? I recall a rather fetching coat. Preparations? I've got my armor and my lance. What more could I need? Okay. It's our last chance to make ready before we set forth. You needn't worry about Yuri Angel and I. We still have what we wore in Garlemald before. Isinin claims to be quite warm and toasty beneath his armor. And since he spent a fair bit of time up north recently as well, I have no reason to doubt his words. Most of the others will be borrowing Grand Company stock. The rest of you could do likewise, I suppose, provided you're not overly concerned with style. Not to put too fine a point on it, but I wouldn't be seen that in one of those ridiculous overcoats. If only I had time to find something to my liking. Hark! Is that the cry of the Scions in need of a tailor, I hear? Of course. Of course. Of course Tataru appears at this point. But how? I have my own ways. Oh yes indeed. You thought you could sneak off to Ilsabard without telling me? Ha! Nothing escapes my notice. Now you will wear these garments I've made for you, whether you like it or not. You'll never cease to amaze. But why do you need a new outfit as well? Wait, are you coming with us? What? No, of course not, silly. It's all in the name of fashion. Rather, the pursuit of the highest quality fashion. Besides, how can I expect others to wear my creations if I've never worn them myself? Makes sense. Ah, I did have one other thing to share. Aergmus and Bluomida have finally returned from assignments in faraway lands. They'll be staying in the Rising Stones for a while to keep an eye on events throughout Eorzea. Since they'll be running things back at headquarters, I was wondering if I could lend a hand in Charlayan. Oh, why not? You can keep Kryl company in the Baldesian Annex. Yes, we'd love to have you there. And I heard Aergmus and Bloimida did a fine job carrying on in our stead while we were lying comatose. With them in charge of the Rising Stones, we've nothing to worry about. Right, that's exactly. Also, while I'm confident we won't go collapsing again, because a certain someone who shall remain nameless is in the position to transport your souls to another world, if anything similarly disastrous were to happen, I'd be well positioned to do something about it. Anyway, I've got a few things to take care of, and then I'll make my way to Charlayan. I really do hope these new clothes are enough to keep you warm in Garlemald. It's not much, but it's the only thing I can do for you. Other than pray for your safe return, which I will, every day. So nice, Tataru. So wholesome. Let us not keep the contingent waiting any longer. Yes, we have our coats. Here are your winter woolies, handcrafted by yours truly. Oh, thank you. It actually looks okay. And 83. So let's check this thingy we got. Yeah, it actually looks nice. Guess I'll just use it. Let's just cast Glam. No. I mean... cast Glam. Just so it makes sense. Here we go. all ready for Garlemald.